All right, we're opening the file on Chapter 64 of the Scientific Indictment. The subject is classified as the social operating system, but the strategic analysis calls it something else: the war on love. So, the foundational premise of this entire indictment is right here. The Archonic war on humanity is total. The source material is completely clear about this. We're not talking about partial measures. This conflict is absolute. Now, a total war, that implies a conflict fought on many fronts. But according to this analysis, all the previous battles have just been leading to one final battleground. And to really get why it's so significant, we first have to audit the attack vectors that came before. The first assault, you see, was on our history. According to the source, by corrupting how we understand our own past, the system effectively cuts us off from our origins, our identity. Next up, there was a coordinated attack on our science. The indictment argues that by compromising the very tools we use to perceive reality, well, our ability to tell truth from deception gets neutralized. The indictment continues, and it shows the attack turning inward. The human body itself, our biology, it became a contested zone, a front line in this ongoing war. And then, the systems of control. The source suggests that our economic structures were actually weaponized, creating this kind of global prison of debt and servitude. So you have history, science, biology, economics. The source presents all of these as just preliminary campaigns, They were designed to soften the primary target. The final battleground, the one where victory really hangs in the balance, is the human heart, our capacity to love. Now, within this final battleground, the indictment points to a very specific strategic target. It's a core structure that it calls the Fortress of Coherence. And this fortress is defined as the dyad. What is that? It's a coherent, stable family unit. But it goes deeper. The text specifies it as a pair-bonded Gnostic partnership. So we're talking about a union that isn't just social, it's also spiritual and energetic. This is the main defensive structure. This schematic here gives us the strategic breakdown. The dyad is analyzed not as some social custom, but as a real operational asset. It's the transmission mechanism, both biologically and energetically, for what the source calls the guardian signal. Think of it as a protective frequency that's passed down through generations. So the strategic imperative is crystal clear. For an Archonic victory, this fortress must be demolished. But how do you demolish a human structure that's so fundamental? Well, the indictment specifies the weapon of choice. It's psychological warfare. The core mission objective of this weapon is laid out in the plainest possible terms. It's to take something sacred, the search for a partner, and to completely invert it, to turn it into a shallow, dopamine-driven video game. Then, the indictment details the operational protocol. It's a 4-step process. Step 1, isolate the individual. Step 2, gamify human connection. Step 3, induce these shallow, addictive dopamine cycles. And then step 4, the main objective: maximize negative emotional output. Maximize negative emotional output. But why? What's the point of engineering loneliness, narcissism, and heartbreak on such a massive scale? The text gives us a motive: an energetic harvest. The source even provides a specific name for this resource: Loosh. It's defined as the energetic byproduct of negative emotions, specifically the ones engineered by the protocol: loneliness, narcissism, and heartbreak. And this final data point in the chapter's analysis is what connects the protocol to the motive. This entire psychological operation is designed to produce what the text calls the perfect energetic loosh for the Archonic farm. The indictment, though, it doesn't just end with the analysis. It concludes with an imperative. After presenting all this data, it forces a decision upon the operator, upon you. Choose.